Welcome to our What to Use When webinar. I am Jennifer Johnson. I am the sales manager for our TOLA region, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Arkansas. First and foremost, I hope all of you are staying safe and healthy during this time. We appreciate all of you and thank you all for joining us today. We are going to spend probably about a half an hour together, and I hope you take some really good information away from our time together here today. So, what to use when? Tons of options out there in heat printing, and it can get really complicated. So what we've done at Stahls, especially within our own organization, one of the biggest complaints we get from customers is that we just simply have so many products. It can get really confusing in terms of, well, what do I use when? So we have put together this really easy matrix to kind of help break it out for you and help make it more simple and make the process more simple. So as I had mentioned a little bit ago, in the files section, for those of you guys that can see that, there is actually a PDF that you can download, this little what to use when postcard, and follow along with me because I'm going to go through some examples to really help drive home when to select the best products for your needs. I failed to mention it when we got started that we're going to have a few polls here. We're going to make this a little bit fun. So, Deborah, I'm going to have you launch the first poll. What is your primary decorating method? If all of you guys can take a moment when that poll is launched and just answer that in terms of what type of decoration are you guys primarily using? And we'll take a minute for you guys to answer that question. And while you guys are answering that question, I'm going to go through this little matrix here with you guys. So as you can see across the top, we have listed the color quantity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 plus colors. Over here on the left, you have your garment quantity on your column going down, and you start off with 1 piece all the way up through 200 pieces and price or quantity breaks in between. So really how you're going to read this is if you have a 1 to 2 color transfer and 1 to about 40 pieces, heat transfer vinyl is the way to go. A lot of people know this as HTV, heat transfer vinyl. We call it, our proprietary name for it at Stahls is called CAD Cut Vinyl. Okay, now if you get into 3 to 6 or more colors, but you're still in that lower quantity, that 1 to about 50 or so pieces, actually about 60 pieces, that's when you're going to want to go and switch over to our digital transfers. At Stahls, we call that CAD Prints Digital. I am going to have Deborah post some links in the chat box so that you guys know where to find our CAD Cut Heat Transfer Vinyl or where to find our CAD Prints with a Z digital transfers. And these are our full color digital transfers, but are great if you have lower quantities. They're basically priced by the square inch, so it makes it really, really easy. And then if you come down to 1 to about 3 or 4 colors, but your quantities are higher. Now this will vary depending if you have a left chest logo or a full front or a full back logo. But if you've got about 40 pieces and then 200 and up, that's when you're going to want to switch over to screen printed heat transfers at our sister company, Transfer Express. And we're going to dive into each of these divisions and each of these products a little bit later on. I'm just kind of walking you through how to use this guide. If you've got 3 or more colors, but your quantity is higher, you're going to be at that 60 pieces or more, you're going to want to use full color heat transfers. And that is our stretch litho matte out of Transfer Express. All right, we're going to go to the next slide here. So we've got some sample jobs. I'm going to dive right into this. Again, I kept this what to use when little guide sheet here for you. So if you have this logo, and this logo is actually about a left chest size, and it's single color, and we've got 25 pieces. Our customer needs to order 25 pieces of this logo at about a left chest size. This is a perfect example of doing it as heat transfer vinyl. All right, and for those of you that don't know what heat transfer vinyl is, because I saw a chat come through, my partner Deborah will post a link to our CAD Cut Heat Transfer vinyl so you can learn a little bit more about that product. But basically what vinyl is it just comes by the yard or in the roll, single color that you can cut on a vinyl cutter. You can do it yourself on your own vinyl cutter. There's vinyl cutters out there that you can purchase at Michael's or Hobby Lobby, Cricut's, Silhouette, or you can purchase an industrial grade vinyl cutter like a Roland or a Gravtech, which happens to be what we sell. And you just feed the vinyl through and you cut your design out. You weed away the excess material, and what is left is your design that you then heat press onto your apparel or your accessory with a heat press. So this is a perfect example of when you would use basic single color heat transfer vinyl. It's going to be the most cost effective and the most efficient to do this logo as heat transfer vinyl. I am going to launch another poll. How many of you own your own vinyl cutter? Wow, okay, very good. About 90% of you own your own vinyl cutter, so that's great. You guys are already a step ahead. Now, for those of you that don't own your own vinyl cutter, Stahls offers this service. You can send us your artwork and we will cut for you. So we will ship you a ready to apply finished heat transfer. Deborah, if you can post a link on how to upload artwork and place your own logos at stahls.com, that would be great for those folks that don't own a vinyl cutter or potentially want to outsource and order through us. All right, let's jump over. I am going to get to those questions where you're asking what the advantages are of digital over full color transfers very shortly here. Best heat transfer vinyl. I'm going to get to that. We will get to all of that. Let me get through these slides and I will answer all of those questions. So the next sample job, we've got a 3-color logo here and 10 pieces. Now this logo, apologies, this is actually our CAD Prints Permatwill. This is one of our digital products. It's actually a twill product, so it's really cool. It kind of gives you that fabric textured dimensional element to it, but it's a digital transfer, so it's digitally printed. But as you can see, it's a really low quantity. Your customer only needs 10 pieces. So to make this most cost effective for you, you would do this in our CAD Prints digital transfers, which is great. You order them at stahls.com. I am going to take this time to launch another quick poll to learn how many of you utilize custom logo services from Stahls, whether that's our CAD Cut Heat Transfer vinyl services or our full color CAD Prints digital services. For those of you that aren't aware, we offer these services. So again, you can upload your artwork to us. You can get instant quotes right then and there. You walk through a series of questions, you select your material, and you're off to the races. You can actually just place your order right online. It's really easy. If you get stuck or you don't quite know what material you need to select, you can always call into our customer service line and they can help walk you through that as well, based on your fabric and your quantity and your colors. All right, let's take a look at this poll here. Okay, so quite a bit of you have never used our custom logo services from Stahls. Super easy. Again, as I mentioned, really, really great way to outsource. If you don't have a printer or you don't have a vinyl cutter, not a problem. You can just send your artwork to us and we will produce it for you. We will ship you a heat transfer ready to apply. So next sample job, you've got a 3-color logo here, and this is actually a gang sheet at Transfer Express. Again, our sister company, our screen printed transfer company. We've got a 3-color logo here, and the customer needs 150 pieces. That can start to get very labor intensive if you try to cut 3 colors with CAD cut vinyl because of all of the layering that goes into it. And at 150 pieces, it can actually start to add up in cost if you were to do this as a CAD Prints digital transfer. So this is a great option. This logo is a great option to do as a custom screen printed transfer at Transfer Express. And with the gang sheeting at Transfer Express, we offer an 11.25 by 14-inch gang sheet size. You can fit multiple logos on the same sheet. So you can see in the image here, we've actually got 3 logos on the same sheet, 2 left chest and then a full front. So it's really filling up that real estate on the sheet for Transfer Express. How many of you have utilized screen printed transfers from Transfer Express? Looks like just about half of you on the webinar here have utilized Transfer Express. That's great. For those of you that have not utilized Transfer Express and don't know anything about screen printed transfers, I highly recommend you check out transferexpress.com. Deborah is going to post that link in the chat box here, and really take a look at it. Sign up for a free account. It's completely free. And check out all the great features that Transfer Express has to offer. It's pretty neat. So let's dive in next. So why this is important? Why do you need to know when to select the right product? Well, first and foremost, you want quality results, right? It's always wise to select the right product based on your fabric. That is the #1 recommendation we have for you. First and foremost, you need to know what fabric you're dealing with, because you need to ensure that you pick the right heat transfer, whether it's a screen printed transfer, a CAD Cut Heat Transfer vinyl product, or a CAD Prints full color digital product, or what we're going to get into, our full color digital transfer, or yes, digital transfers out of Transfer Express. They need to be compatible with your fabrics. Most of our products will work across a multitude of fabrics, from cotton to cotton poly blends to 100% polyester. It's when you start to get into the high stretch fabrics that contain lycra or spandex or nylon fabrics, or those kind of crazier, really heat-sensitive polyesters, performance polyesters, that you really need to ensure you're selecting products with the right adhesives or that apply at a lower temperature so they don't scorch or damage your fabrics. Another reason why this is so important, ROI, return on your investment. You want to make sure you're selecting the right product within your budget, and that's going to be the most cost effective. If you have a very large, let's say 11 by 12 full front graphic and it's 3 colors, you probably don't want to go with CAD Prints Digital, because that's priced by the square inch and it can get very expensive the larger you go. So you probably want to look into Transfer Express's screen printed transfers or Transfer Express's full color digital transfers stretch litho matte. Now, each of these buckets, and this is what we're going to dive into next, is kind of the ins and outs of each of these products at Stahls and Transfer Express. So each bucket has a collection of products. We always recommend to our customers, because you guys are really selling out there to your consumer, is offer a good, better, and best option. That is a great way to sell your apparel and your accessories. I tell people all the time, and I have this as well when I'm presenting to my customers, always have physical samples on hand, whether that's a really cool t-shirt or a hoodie, maybe throw in a hat and a bag. With your good options, your better options, and your best options. It's a great way for your customers to touch and feel and see kind of what's in their budget. It's always a great way to sell. So let's start with our CAD Cut Heat Transfer vinyl. So in our basic, premium, and what we call special effects. So your basic vinyl, again, we are talking all things Stahls right now. Your basic is your fashion film. It's just a great all-around heat transfer vinyl. It's offered in a ton of colors. Deborah, if you can put a link in the chat to our fashion film so people can go straight to the landing page, check out the colors that are available. Tons of colors, metallic colors, neon colors, and it works on a multitude of fabrics. It's just a really great, cost-effective product. A premium product in the heat transfer vinyl is our Premium Plus. By far, it is my favorite heat transfer vinyl product. It's got a ton of stretch and rebound in it, so it's great for things like lycra, spandex. It also applies at a nice low temperature, so it's ideal for those heat-sensitive fabrics like performance polyester, and it's about as soft as you can get. We call it soft as a bunny because it is just one of the most beautiful, soft, buttery products. Really, really nice product. And then you get into your best option, which is your special effects, like your glitter flakes. We offer colored reflective, metallics. We offer flock and twills, so you can start to get into more of your fabric type of finishes. So ton of great options in your CAD Cut Heat Transfer vinyl, but those are your good, better, best options. Next, we get into your CAD prints. These are your full color digital transfers. So again, if you go back to your PDF of your what to use when, this is when you start to have 3 or more colors, but you may still have only lower quantity volumes. I say on average about 50 pieces or less. So a basic is going to be our CAD Prints Express Print. It's a great all-around full color product. It's relatively thin. It works on a wide range of fabrics from cotton to cotton poly blends to polyester. It's got a little bit of give to it, so just nice all-around full color digital product. Our premium in this line would be our soft opaque. It is our softest of our full color digital transfers. It's got a lot of stretch and rebound to it. It is just a beautiful product. Again, along the lines of that Premium Plus in the single color CAD Prints heat transfer vinyl, this is its sister in the full color line. Really soft, super thin. It's great for those Bella canvas tees, those tri-blends, those really thin kind of burnout tees and flowy tops. Great product. And then you get into our best, which is our special effects. We've got full color glitter options, really fun, especially if you're doing a lot of cheer or you're doing a lot of fashion elements and pieces. And then we can get into our full color twill. So that is a fantastic product. I like it on heavier weight items because it does have a heavier hand to it. So think things like hockey jerseys, hoodies, outerwear like jackets, headwear, hats, bags and backpacks, things like that. Great product for all of that. Then we jump over into our screen printed transfers at Transfer Express. And Deborah, if you can just post that again into the chat. I know it's a little further up in the chat for those of you that didn't get it. Maybe you guys can see it again. But we've got your basic, your premium, so your good, your better, and your best. So our basic all-around bestseller at Transfer Express is by far our goof-proof transfer. It is phenomenal. Great economically priced product. It's spot color, which means it is priced by the color. That's why it's ideal for about 3 colors or less. You're going to be right in that sweet spot cost-wise at 3 colors or less for the goof proof. We offer 80 plus stock colors at no additional charge for you in our screen printed products. You can do custom colors. So if you see or if you have a color that you don't see in our stock color chart, you can absolutely do that for a small fee. Most of the products that we're talking about here on this page are a 1 to 2 day lead time. Super fast, and we ship anywhere in the country via 2-day speedy air for the price of, I believe, $12 flat rate shipping out of Transfer Express. So it's a really great option. Then you get into our more premium spot color product by the name of ElastiPrint. Oh, and let me back up. Goof Proof is great on cotton, cotton poly blend, and polyester. The only time I would recommend that you probably want to get into something more on the lines of ElastiPrints over Goof Proof is if you have a very heat sensitive fabric like performance polyester or moisture wicking polyester, because they tend to want to scorch or burn or leave marks, box marks at 365 degrees, which is what the product applies at, or its alternative application settings of 340. Sometimes that's still just a little too hot for those performance polyesters. They really like nothing more than about 280 degrees or so. That's where ElastiPrints really shines because it can apply as low as 275. Again, has all of the features of Goof Proof. So it's spot color, ideal for 3 colors or less. We've got 80 plus stock colors in the ElastiPrints. Just a great all-around product. Now we're going to dive into the Stretch Litho Mat, which is also one of my absolute favorite products, especially out of Transfer Express. The image that you see here, the taco bar cantina logo, that is actually our Stretch Litho Mat. And if you look over just to the left of the Fusion IQ heat press there, you can see the gang sheet. So again, we produce in gang sheets at Transfer Express. The Goof Proof and ElastiPrint are printed on an 11¼ by 14 sheet size, but the Stretch Litho Mat is actually produced on a slightly larger 11½ by 18 sheet size. So it is great. Fill up that real estate. It is not priced by the color. That is the beautiful thing about Stretch Litho Mat. And Deborah, if you can post a link to the Stretch Litho Mat landing page, that way people can get right to it, learn a little bit more about the product. But not priced by the color. So it's great if you've got a lot of colors in your design, or if you have a lot of designs that are each different color. Maybe you have a white logo and a red logo and an orange and blue logo, and then you have a full color logo. We don't care. Put them all on the same sheet, not priced by the sheets, or not priced by the color. It's just priced by the sheet with a 5 sheet minimum. So it makes it really, really cost effective when you're dealing with things with a lot of colors and slightly higher quantities. So again, think about it. It's an 11½ by 18 sheet with a 5 sheet minimum. So if you're doing left chest logos, you're going to need to be ordering about 40 of those or so to meet that 5 sheet minimum. That's where Stretch Litho Mat full color is going to be more cost effective than our CAD Prints digital logos at Transfer Express at the higher quantities. There's that threshold when it starts to tip over, the scale starts to tip over. Another great thing about the Stretch Litho Mat is that it comes on a clear carrier, so it makes it really easy to see in application. And it applies at a nice low temperature, so it's great, ideal for those heat sensitive fabrics, but also works on your cottons. So it's a really nice universal product. The only thing you want to be careful of with the Stretch Litho Mat is we do not recommend it for nylon. And if you get into items with a lot of stretch in them, I would say, you know, things with more than 20% stretch or so, not the ideal product for that. And then you get into our special effects products at Transfer Express. We offer glitter, pearl. Pearl is a really pretty kind of subdued pearlescent look. We have glow in the dark, we have puff, a ton of really great options at Transfer Express. So for those of you that have not utilized Transfer Express, I highly recommend you check them out. Register for an account. It's free. It takes a couple of minutes. And then you also get access to our Easy View online design tool, which offers hundreds of design templates and clip arts that are completely free, fully customizable. So it makes it really easy for those of you that aren't as savvy with artwork. I am going to launch my last poll here. How many of you guys use full color logos? Looks like a lot more of you utilize full color logos. That's great. It's looking at about 70% of you utilize full color logos. So that is awesome. For those of you that do utilize full color logos and have not checked out our stretch litho mat yet, again, I highly recommend you check it out. Deborah, if you can post in the chat a link to the free sample pack out of Transfer Express, that would be really helpful. That way these folks who have not utilized Transfer Express before can click on that, register for an account, and request their free sample pack. You guys, in that sample pack, it's awesome. It gives you a price guide on all of our products. It gives you a mini version of all of our fully customizable templates and layouts, and it gives you an unapplied piece of each of these products that we're talking about today, plus all of the products that Transfer Express manufactures, along with application instructions, so you guys can hear those, or you guys have those easily referenced. Before I open it up to questions and answers, I do want to launch one more offer for you guys. So there was an offer that Deborah should have launched so that you can so that you can get a physical copy of the What to Use When postcard. Again, you're going to want to click on the link, fill out your information so that we have your address and we can get that shipped out to you. And last but not least, as a thank you for joining us today and taking the time out of your days, to learn a little bit more and collaborate with us, we want to offer you 10% off for the month of April. This is for all things Stahls. Stay tuned for some fun offers coming out of Transfer Express, but this 10% offer is good for Stahls.com only. And when you go to check out, you're going to use the promo code. There's a section that you can enter your promo code, and you're going to use the promo code 10, spelled out T-E-N, and then the year 2020, and you will get 10% off at checkout. We hope that you check out some of these products. You guys can request samples at any time of any of these products. We offer free samples. So if you haven't tried any of these products, we would love for you to try them out and provide your feedback. And I'm going to open it up to any questions that you might have.
How many washings, this is from Herb, how many washings does stretch litho last?
That is a great question, Herb. So actually, all of our products, both at Stahls and at Transfer Express, have to pass a 50 domestic wash and dry cycle before we can launch to market. We have a full internal lab that we put through rigorous wash tests before any of our products are launched to consumer. So 50 wash and dry cycles. Now, there's a caveat to that, and it's your care instructions. We always tell our customers, turn your garment inside out, warm water wash with like colors, tumble dry low. No fabric softener, no bleach, don't iron over the embellishment, and no dry cleaning. And you guys just let me know if you need me to repeat that. But that was a great question.
Okay, our next question is from Christopher. He is asking about scorch marks.
Yes, great question. The dreaded scorch marks. A lot of people might call them box marks, impression marks, squares, scorching, bruising, kind of a lot of different terms for the same thing. So basically when that occurs, that means, and typically that occurs with synthetics. Now it can happen with cotton, but the more synthetic that you have in the garment, the higher the likelihood of these scorch marks happening. It means that you're using a product that applies at too high of a heat, or requires too much pressure, or has too much of a dwell time, or a combination of all three. That is when you need to ensure that you're selecting a product that applies at a nice low temperature. And some products that I can recommend right out of the gate that you should try are our Premium Plus in our CAD Cut vinyl line, because it applies at as low as 280 degrees. Our Stretch Litho Matte out of Transfer Express, because it applies at 275 degrees. Same with our Elasti Prints out of Transfer Express, which is our screen printed transfers, spot color. And then our CAD Prints line, our soft opaque, also CAD Prints full color digital soft opaque, also applies as low as 275. If you are still getting scorch marks at about 275, you definitely want to look into top and bottom heat technology on your heat press, meaning you no longer only have heat coming from the top source. You can now have heat coming from the bottom source as well. Check out our webinar that's going to be hosted next week on all information on our power platens. Deborah, if you can post a link to all of our upcoming events and webinars, definitely check out our webinar on power platens. For those of you that have Hotronix heat presses, you can absolutely incorporate power platens into your Hotronix heat presses that will help with scorch marks.
So factoring the cost of labor, what is the recommended color and quantity in which we should use Stahls services versus doing it ourselves?
That is a great question. $1 million question. There's a lot of variables that can go into answering that. But on average, if your quantities are relatively low and you have your own vinyl cutter, it's always going to be more cost effective to cut it yourself. On average, you can save anywhere, depending on the material and the level of detail in the logo, you can save anywhere from 40 to 60% margin doing it yourself on your own vinyl cutter. If your quantities are very high, and by high I mean, let's say it's a relatively detailed logo and your customer needs 100 pieces or more, you know, your labor is precious, especially if you're a one-man show or you're a home-based business or you're what we call a side hustle business, and you've got a 9-to-5 job, but you're burning the midnight oil. That might be something you want to consider outsourcing to us, since your time is so precious and it takes a lot of time and labor to cut and weed that many logos in heat transfer vinyl. That would be a great scenario for outsourcing to us. Same goes for multiple color logos. So anything more than 2 colors, me personally, I probably would not cut and weed more than 2 color logos. It just becomes very labor intensive, very time consuming. Again, if you're a home-based business or you're a one person show, you want to be out there selling your business, marketing your business. You don't want to necessarily be spending your time cutting and weeding all of that. So that's when it would be great to outsource to Stahls or to look into screen printed transfers at Transfer Express. I hope that helps answer that question.
Okay, next question is from Kelly. What is a gang transfer?
Okay, great question. So Kelly, definitely check out transferexpress.com. Register for an account. It takes no more than 5 minutes and it's completely free. And we have a ton of resources on the Transfer Express website to educate you on all things gang sheet transfers. But basically what that means is if you're used to utilizing vinyl that comes by the yard or by the roll, if you order in rolls and you're feeding it through your cutter, you're just utilizing square inch space. At Transfer Express, we produce everything on sheets, whether they're paper sheets or clear, what we call like mylar sheets. And it's real estate. So you fill up the sheet and you order by the sheet, not by the individual logo piece. So you put as many logos as you can on that sheet and then you order by the sheet so you get the best bang for your buck. And when you have slightly larger quantities, again, left chest, about 40 pieces or more, it really becomes cost effective. It's a great option. And then you don't have to do any of the work. The sheet comes to you ready to apply. There's no cutting, there's no weeding, there's none of the labor.
Okay, we have a question from Nina. Do you have to have a large commercial grade vinyl cutter, or do Cricut and Silhouette machines work with your vinyl?
Great question. We get asked this all the time, and please, I highly recommend all of you guys check out the link that Deborah posts on all of the events that we're hosting this month, actually this month and into next month, and check out our recorded events. We just did a Facebook Live. Jenna Sackett, for those of you that know her, she's kind of the face of Stahls TV. She just did an hour-long Facebook Live event on utilizing our vinyl on a Cricut. So answer your question, Nina, absolutely you can use our vinyl on a Cricut or a Silhouette. Typically you want to cut it down a little bit, but works great.
Okay, we have a couple people with the question of what's the difference between the digital transfer and the full color transfer?
Yep, great. All right, let me clarify that for you guys. So CAD Prints digital transfers are always, I say they're out of Stahls.com, but actually Transfer Express offers them as well. So CAD Prints is a vinyl that you print with an eco solvent ink. And for those of you that do not have an eco solvent printer, don't panic, it's no problem. We can do it for you, both at Stahls.com or TransferExpress.com. You simply can type in the search bar CAD Prints, and it's CAD as in dog, PRINTZ as in zebra, CAD Prints. And Deborah can post a link to CAD Prints. And basically it's full color digital transfers that are priced by the size of the image. So the larger the image, the more expensive they get. But the great thing about CAD Prints is there is no quantity minimum. You can literally order one piece if you'd like. There is a dollar minimum per order, and that is $25 per order, per logo, per order. But it's a great option if you've got more than 3 colors, or if you've got a full color logo or a photograph, anything with blends, gradients, shadowing. That is great in the CAD Prints digital transfers. However, if you start to get into about 50 pieces or more, it becomes more cost effective to then switch from CAD Prints full color digital transfers over to Stretch Litho Matte out of Transfer Express. That is our full color logo product. Completely borderless, doesn't require a colored outline or a border like the CAD Prints digital transfers, but does have that 5-sheet minimum. And again, the sheet is a pretty good size. It's 11.5 wide by 18 inches tall, and it's a 5-sheet minimum. So if you only needed, say, 6 pieces of a family reunion photograph, you wouldn't want to go with Stretch Litho Matte because you're not going to meet that minimum. Then you would want to stick with the CAD Prints digital transfer. So again, I highly recommend you guys download that PDF, that What to Use When PDF, and utilize the colors and the quantity, because that will spit you into the CAD Prints box or the full color logos in Stretch Litho Matte box.
Okay. I'm just scanning through. I'm seeing one other question of Jennifer just asking the traditional spot screen printing versus transfers with a heat press. I'm not sure if that's more about what the difference is or when to use each.
So spot color transfers are going to be, again, out of Transfer Express. When you guys hear the words spot color, that typically refers to screen printing and then all things screen printed transfers at Transfer Express. So your goof proof and your elasti prints are going to be your spot color screen printed transfers at Transfer Express. And they are going to be most cost effective when you've got 3 colors or less. You can certainly do 3 colors or more. If your customer is insistent they want a screen printed transfer and they don't want a digital transfer because the feel is a little different, you can certainly do more than 3 spot colors in goof proof or elasti prints, but it can start to add up because it's priced by the color, whereas our digital transfers are not priced by the color. Hopefully that helps. I do see Anne-Marie here say, is the 10% discount only at Stahls or can we use it at Transfer Express? For right now, Anne-Marie, it is only good at Stahls, but stay tuned, continue to check out our live events because we're offering a ton of specials, both at Stahls and Transfer Express. But for now, that 10% off promo code, which is TEN 2020, is only good at stahls.com.
Okay, Jennifer, we've got one last question from Corey. Can you request from Transfer Express an underbase or an extra base of white, 2 layers of white to prevent garment ghosting?
So yes, Corey, you can. That would be something that's pretty custom. So you would need to call into the 1-800 number at Transfer Express. That's not something that you would necessarily do when you're placing your order online, but we certainly can add a white underbase. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Corey's question, with screen printed transfers, although our inks are extremely vibrant and opaque, sometimes when you're dealing with heavily over dyed fabrics or sublimated fabrics, even if the inks are really thick and vibrant, they can bleed. Meaning if you put a white logo on a sublimated fabric, it can bleed and turn pink or turn the color of the fabric. So we have actually products that have dye migration blockers added to them. So Corey, I definitely recommend you check out our Aqua True product at Transfer Express. That is a great product that comes with a dye migration blocker option. And I hope everybody stays tuned because after this coronavirus is all over, Transfer Express is going to be launching their Ultra Color product, which is basically our stretch litho matte with a few enhancements, one of which is going to be a dye migration blocker. So Corey, check that out, Ultra Color at Transfer Express or AquaTrue at Transfer Express.
Okay, Jennifer, I think that's all we have for questions right now.
Great. We love to have you guys. We love the interaction, and I hope all of you stay safe and healthy out there.